So for everybody watching, you know, we like to poke fun at Lucas, right? We do that it more so than poke fun at me. In fact, that almost never happens. Lucas tends to be more of the brunt of the joke. Is that
Sure.
what I noticed within the last few days that there is something I did that was very Lucasy. And I don't remember
Lay it
what
on me,
episode it
sister.
was in, but I feel like, you know, since we do, throw so many of the jokes at you, I felt like when I was in the same position, I must bring light to it. Just like when I'm wrong, which happens in
I know it happened
whatever,
three
it
videos in a
happens.
row.
Yeah. Did it?
Yeah, I
Um,
highlighted it.
but some video we were talking about Red Letter Media. I mentioned Red Letter Media. You're like, oh, I love them. And I'm like, I love them too. And then you made a joke about Mike in Star Trek. And I did not laugh. And you went, you're not going to laugh at that? And I was like, I don't, what? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And you were like, seriously? He always talks about Star Trek The Next Generation and compares everything to it. And I was just like, I don't know. And and you were just like, okay, and your mind was blown for like the first time ever. Like you finally got to feel what I feel. And and then we
I
moved
like where
on.
this is going.
And the whole reason I started thinking about this again, because every single Red Letter Media I've watched like since then has had multiple instances of Mike comparing something to Star Trek The Next Generation.
And kind of like a big episode of Star Trek.
Hey everyone, welcome to Why Are You Still Here? And today we're going to talk about something that we actually thought we were going to talk about a while ago, and we just never did for some reason. I think we might find out what that reason is today, actually. We'll get to the bottom of it. So we're talking about, no build up to it. Why would we? Hogwarts Legacy,
Yeah, it's been
right?
out for over a month, so no one else is talking about it or looking it up anymore. But here we are.
Of course not. Resident
We're
Evil 4
we're
is what's
renaming the
hot at the
show.
moment.
We're renaming the show from "Why Are You Still Here" to "Late to the Party."
Why are you still talking about that?
There you go. That too.
Yes, because we're not just talking about it. We have some very specific things to say about it, I do believe. Why am I sitting like this? Well, I'll tell you why I'm sitting like this. Look at that sad face.
I wouldn't give it a frowny face.
Oh my God, I can't get back up.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Well, I did. I gave it a frowny face. And I'll tell you why.
I'm sure you
It
will.
finally came to me. Well, first off, this game was on the horizon for many a year, and then it was postponed 3 times.
Three or
Was it three
four.
times, 4 times? Something like that. Kept on getting postponed. Still, people that have PS4
I was gonna
and
say, yep, still not
Xbox
even
One
out. The
still
Switch
haven't played
version's
it.
getting canceled,
Or in the
so
Switch.
it's not
Yeah,
officially, but it
yeah.
is. So
Oh, it for sure. There's no way that it's going to be able to handle something that big, unfortunately. Hey now. I wouldn't know what that's about. But Lucas was very excited for this game. And I know why. Obviously, it'd be like if they made a James Bond game, which they are, but a James
yes,
Bond game that encapsulated like an entire open world and it went over, like it paid tribute to the whole series or something, like I would be like, oh my God. I would say the exact same thing he said, which is, you're never going to see me again, at least for a month. You're just not going to see me. And And so I was like, yeah, I believe that. And then the game came out and he got it right away. I got it the next day and he was very excited about it. I don't know if you can see remnants of that in the episode we recorded that day. Maybe, but you were playing it up until we were recording, and then when we were finished recording, you started playing it again right away.
Yes, indeed.
Like the show was still going and you were just playing it. I think in the middle of it too. And I hadn't played it yet at that point, and all I knew was that it was getting some negative reviews. And I said that to Lucas. Lucas, like, that means nothing to me. And I'm like, honestly, it means nothing to me either. I don't know what it means because they compared it to some game. And then he played more of it. He enjoyed it still at that time. And then I got it. I started playing it. And I'm like, you know what? This is really good. I don't know what they were talking about. Fast forward several weeks until I had a chance to really dive into it, because I've been playing it steadily since it came out, but I would do like a lot of side quests. I do like one main one and and then call it a night and play Grand Theft Auto probably. I've been on a Grand Theft Auto kick. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 3, if anybody cares.
Very good. I love 3. Vice City, or not Vice City, Liberty City is one of my favorite settings. GTA 4, baby, doesn't ever get enough love at
Hell
all.
no, it doesn't. It needs
Such
a
a good game.
remaster. Give us a remaster, Rockstar. It'd be so easy. Anyway. So I had 2 nights where I just kept playing only like the main quests, okay? And I was like, you know what? Something became glaringly obvious to me about this game. Multiple negatives just started to appear in front of my eyes, and I could not turn a blind eye to them anymore. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe we should talk about this, because we hadn't talked about it at that point. And I'm like, you know what? I think Lucas might feel the same way, because yet again, he really wanted to talk about this game. And then we never did that episode. We never talked
Exactly.
about that whole subject again. And in fact, Lucas even stopped playing the game for a period of time. And I'm like, this is not right. This doesn't add up. It doesn't matter what he has to do. Nothing could ever separate him from a good Hogwarts experience, right? Nothing. Not the show, not work, not everyday life. Nothing can separate him, but he was separated. So Lucas, tell me, why were you separated from the game?
All I can do is compare it to Skyrim and like notice its shortcomings. And I think my biggest issue with the game is that the developers, you can tell that they really, really tried. You can tell they put a lot of heart and soul into it. There's a lot of detail. I really like the characters of the game. I'm not going to lie. The narrative is, I said it from day one, I'll say it still. If you had a show, with some of these characters in this setting and that, ancient magic bullshit, I'll get behind it and I would enjoy it more than Fantastic Beasts right off the bat. But the fact that they made like 3 games prior to this, one of them being Cars and Toy Story, right? It is so obvious that they're just rookies. And for the game being as ambitious as it is, I'm gonna give you a hot take. I still love the game. Okay, no, we've been talking about our words here. I really like the game. It's really enjoyable. It's so much fun. The combat, I'm gonna tell you, this is very satisfying. To hit them with the Levioso and then disarm them and then hit him with Incendio, it never, ever gets old to me. I love getting the objects from the environment and smashing away your Protego and just beating the shit out of you. It's fun. It's very good, but these are still my 2 favorite Harry Potter games. I'm not going to lie. These games feel just as open world as this, and the map is gigantic in this. Tell me how that's possible. And it really got me thinking. I don't know. Again, with like all the horror stuff we talk about, this kind of stuff, the older I get, Brandon, the more I just don't like anything that's new. Obviously new things come out and you enjoy them, but like I'm just
I know that about you.
I'm so stuck on old things. And it says it right in our intro. We are far too nostalgic, right? So I mean, I grew up this one specifically. I've been playing for it'll be 21 years this year, or was it last year? No, what year is it? It's 2023. Yeah, it'll be
It
20
is.
21 years. So I've been playing this game for longer than some people watching this have even been alive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I almost felt more magic with this than this one. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes sense.
Some of the technical aspects bother me. The hair is a hit or miss. It's either it looks really good or really bad. You can tell it was made with old hardware in mind. I don't think there's any reason for this game to have as many frame rate hitches as it does. Um, it's just there's a few things.
I've gotten stuck in walls more times than I care to admit.
I haven't had that, but the only problem I had was that was similar to that, I guess, was after like a battle, the controller would just keep vibrating. It wouldn't stop. And I would have to like end the
Hmm.
game and then re-go back into it. So it's just
Yeah.
if it was, and I hate to say it because Bethesda pisses me off now, but if this was Bethesda doing the exact same game with the same like writing team, but a different
Hmm.
execution staff that's actually writing the game, the code for it, designing the game, I think it would have been better. And then my last complaint with the game, and that's pretty much all I really have to say about my complaints, because I really do like the game and I don't want it to sound like I hate it. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
uh, issues in a game are far different than issues in a movie, right?
That's life.
A game you're interacting with and you have to control and you have to sometimes battle controls, battle technical issues. As to where a movie you just kind of sit back and accept it as it is. So it's far harder to enjoy a bad game than it is a bad movie. You know, like for example,
Yeah.
like The Room, horrible movie, absolutely enjoyable. The Burger King games, they're not bad games, like technically, but they're so ridiculous that there's like an enjoyment factor that I can see some people having for like a half an hour or so. Um,
Hmm.
so bad games different than bad movies. So when I play a game, especially for something that I'm so passionate about, I'm gonna notice things that are flawed with it. Yeah, so there's just like 5 or 6 issues that are just holding back a seriously good game, and I really hope that they recruit different talent, and I hope that they actually listen to some of the criticism that is not about the transgender bullshit, because I'm done with that. I'm not hearing it. Talk about the technicality of the game, and then when they make the inevitable sequel, that one can be better. Because again, it's not like movies where that legacy one is always going to be the best.
Hmm.
Games improve as
Yeah.
time goes on. So
Yep.
it's different. So I think this is the first time I've ever talked more than you.
Well, we'll see. I have
Okay.
I have notes. I didn't want to interrupt you on your
Thank you for that.
negatives that you had about it. Yeah.
I
So
really
my
thought I was going to
opinion,
be able to do this video without plugging in my battery, my charger. It's that time, Brandon.
I tell you what. So my opinion of this game is more negative than Lucas, and I really tried hard to, look upon the positive of this. And I don't want to affect the opinions of anybody that does really enjoy it, or like Lucas, who mostly enjoys it, but is disappointed by some things, because I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan out there, obviously. I enjoy Harry Potter. Um, but I'm mostly about the books. Like I
Mm.
love the books. The books would be on my favorite, books of all time list. The movies wouldn't. Except actually that's a lie. I have my 100 favorite movies, and Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets are actually on that list. So I take that back, but most of the movies would not show up on that. And I just had an idea in mind of what this was going to be like. And I do have to say that I commend them on the fact that the game is not online. It doesn't have any online capabilities. I was wrong about that. I really thought that they were going to play into that. Maybe they will with the Switch version if that ever comes out. We'll see. It'll be a completely different version though. So maybe it will have online capability. I can see where that would happen, but it also makes it less possible that you don't have things like Quidditch in it. And that is a big glaring issue to me. And it stands out like Nev Campbell missing from Scream 6. Like they constantly feel the need to keep bringing it up
Yes.
because because they know you're wondering why, and they even bring you to the Quidditch pitch several times. It's almost like they're rubbing it in your face, and it's like, stop. You made this entire area. It looks fantastic. It looks exactly like you'd expect it to look from the movies. And yet they don't do anything with it except have you do like
You do
little
speed
things here and there
trials.
on the field. Uh right. Right. So that is something that I find annoying about it. I will say that it bothers me. Less now than it did at the beginning, but the layout of the school is just plain wrong.
That
And
that's a I didn't think that was going to bother me as much as it does, but it genuinely kind of like angers me.
yeah.
It's don't okay, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the way it looks.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
just didn't grow up with that. So when I think of Hogwarts, I know like I told Brandon, if you drop me in the actual Hogwarts, I could get you around there with at least 60% proficiency just based off of the book descriptions in the movies. And it's not that. And it's like it looks so much nicer than what the actual Hogwarts looks like in the movies, to the point where it's like, what the hell happened? Was Fudge right about Dumbledore? Is he daft or dangerous?
Gentlemen, anybody for daily profit? Dumbledore, is he daft or is he dangerous?
Like maybe they needed Umbridge to come to the school to fix things. We just didn't know it. So
There's a
like
part in the game, I don't want to cut you off, but I do have to
that's fine.
interject that there is a part with Professor Weasley. I believe it was Professor Weasley at least, or maybe it was the instructor for flying. I don't know. Maybe it was
What
her
is
because
the
she,
flying one? His name's like Aquanagana or something. It's some
yeah, it's
really
something like
exotic
that.
name.
And I think she said that she's been working for the school for like hundreds of years. Um and then your character goes, well, how has Hogwarts changed over the years? And she goes, oh my goodness, it changes every year. And it's like, okay, so that's your explanation then. The entire layout of the school just changes willy-nilly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it goes from like this
what?
like like ye old European style architecture to like this like 19th century Gothic architecture. It's really weird.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, honestly, it is gorgeous, like you said, and having more like plants and stuff around is still, I guess it's cool. It
Oh,
definitely
also, so
fills
how is
in
the
the
Defense Against the
space.
Dark Arts room exactly the same? So, Defense Against the Dark Arts, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember in the very first movie when they do the whole remember all thing, and then McGonagall takes Harry to get Wood out, Oliver Wood out of class? He's in Defense
Could
Against the
I
Dark
borrow
Arts. You know
wood
that
for a
because
moment,
Quirrell was
please?
standing there with like a giant lizard for
Yes,
whatever reason.
of course.
And then it's a completely different room. It almost looks like Snape's potion room from the first movie. It's really basic. And then the second one onward, so Gilderoy gave it a makeover, and then that is from 2 to the last movie. But in the game, it's the exact same one from the second movie and onward. I don't know. I'm nitpicking at this point, but it's like when you're a nut
The
hugger.
stairs might face in the opposite direction to the office. I'm trying to think here because I think it's you go up the stairs on the right side in the game, and in the movie you go up the stairs on the
Yeah, you
left
go around.
side. Yep.
Possibly. I'm actually gonna play
Because
it after we're done
he
talking,
walks
but
past the portraits as
yep.
he's like introducing himself to the class, and the pictures of him in the portraits are one's like painting and stuff, like that kind of thing, and he walks right past them, and he walks past them on the left wall. If you
Yes.
came down the stairs on the right side, he would not be able to pass them. I think at
I
least.
remember
Okay.
from the for the movie anyway, but yes.
So,
So
but that aside, yes. um which that's not a big deal, who cares about that, but yeah, so there are things. The Great Hall, the location of it is wrong. but the but not on the outside of it, not the
oh, I
architecture of
know.
it. It's still fine in the
It's
architecture,
it's it's
everything
always
is.
I always end up noticing that when I pull up the Hogwarts map because it's a perfect recreation of it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just that it's the map. So it's like it always kind of gets me a little bit.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
But then
And
there are some nice ones, with the Gryffindor common room actually being in the right place is very nice. Unlike in the third movie when it's in the grand staircase for whatever reason.
so stupid. So stupid. Bad Alfonso Cuarón. That's what I say. You can't change Hogwarts that much, you bastard. But yes, anyway, the way it looks though, at least in the Great Hall, it's exactly what you'd expect. Maybe like the stage area is not quite as big and grand, but still, it's the floating candles, the ceiling, all of that is lovely. And obviously the kitchen, we've discussed that, the kitchen with the uh those things, the house elves down in there, right?
Yep.
So whatever. That's neither here nor there. I think I would prefer it to look more like the movie, just in that gothic style, but whatever. And I would definitely like it to match up with at least the model that they have of it in real life. Just put the things where it's supposed to go, stuff that you don't know where it is, then just come up with the place for it. But it just feels wrong so much of the time. And the school with all the wood feels like the freaking Titanic, especially with the band playing as the Titanic's going
Yes.
down. Like you constantly have that instruments playing. So that's what I feel every single time. I always think I'm going to see like Jack and Rose run past me, and then James Cameron flipping somebody off as he drives by in his car. Like that's what I'm expecting when I'm playing the game. Um, the game is obviously it is gigantic and there's tons of stuff to do. It was my fear that it was going to feel too big and it was going to be a little bit frustrating. I wouldn't say that because they do throw the side quests and the main quests at you in a pretty decent way, and there is a pretty nice way of keeping all that organized as well. So that's not really a big a problem. It does go obviously far outside of Hogwarts, so that's something. Um, but I agree with you on something you said. I mean, I agree with you on everything you said, but despite the fact that it is gigantic and there's tons of stuff to do, and it should feel like the most magical Wizarding World game that's ever existed, it doesn't even come close to Chamber of Secrets. It does not even touch that game. I would rather play Chamber of Secrets than play Hogwarts Legacy. And that's really saying something. And before anybody chimes in and goes, that's nostalgia talking. No, it's not. I've only
Yep.
been playing the Harry Potter games for less than a year now. So it's not nostalgia talking. It's
Yeah,
just,
you have one newcomer, and then I played the games literally like the day they came out from when they came out. So I am like, if there's one thing on the show that I can fully claim that I am a massive fan of, and I know basically almost everything there is to know, it's that series.
mm-hmm,
Stick that in
absolutely.
your wand and shove it up your ass and cast Lumos.
Indeed. Indeed. I'm happy that you like the story and the characters. I find I like them, but I think that they just it feels like something's missing. I don't know what that is. They feel a little bit hollow to me. And I don't know if that's just because I would prefer to see familiar faces,
Mm-hmm.
from the movies, books, whatever. And we don't get that, which makes sense. If we did get that, that would be weird. I still have yet to come across John Cleese in the school. Was he only in the trailer?
No, he has an entire like story mission.
Oh, I haven't come across him.
It's toward the beginning of the game too. Maybe
I'm
like the
like
first
30% done
quarter.
with the game.
Really? And you
And
haven't got that?
yeah.
It's the Jackdaw quest. Yeah, like you and
Oh,
Professor
I did
Fig
that.
had with the headless hunt and everything. So John Cleese, yeah.
I didn't see
And
John
nearly headless
Cleese.
Nick.
I
Nearly
didn't see
headless
nearly
Nick is
headless
there.
Nick.
You do the whole
I
thing
didn't
with the headless hunt.
I don't know if I did. I did the
You
first quest
you go with
with
nearly
him.
headless Nick to the kitchen to get the rotten roast beef.
Oh yeah, no, that did not happen. I did the quest in the Forbidden Forest with him.
Interesting. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to
You
tell
didn't
you
do
about
that?
that one. Oh no, yeah, but
Oh, okay.
I'm just surprised that you didn't do that one. Huh, that's weird. Anyway,
Yeah. I have no idea how the game is structured, but I have two of the four, portraits filled out in the chamber. The the damn it, I can't think of what it's called. The something chamber where you go in there and
the map chamber.
the map chamber. So two out of the four of those, and I assume all four portraits will be filled out at
So
some point
obviously
with
we did them in a different order then. That's what happened.
I guess. I don't
One
even
would
know how
assume.
I could have even done the one that you're speaking of. I believe I know the one you're speaking of, actually, now that I think about it, because I do have that mission at the side to do, but it says like level 30 to do it, and I'm not level 30. So anyway, so all of that aside, I think that the main characters of the game leave a little bit to be desired. They're all very similar. There's not any really particular standouts except the really old lady that turns out that she's not actually an old lady. That stuck with me. She's the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And
Professor
she's like,
Hecat.
hello, oh my goodness. And then she says like she's the same age as Headmaster Black or whatever. And your character's like, what?
Now, you may be asking yourself how an old woman like me single-handedly took out the largest poacher ring in eastern Wales and lived to boast about it. Knowledge.
And she's like, yes, I was wounded by time itself, and I thought she was just talking like, through like riddles and shit. And she was like, no, she was actually wounded by time. And now she looks like an old ass lady that walks around like this. Apparently she's like 40 years old, but
She
whatever.
still kicks ass though.
Yes, indeed. The gameplay, I'm sorry, Lucas. It is repetitive as hell. So much so that I get sick of it.
Repetitious, correct. I, however, just find it very satisfying. So there's, give and take with something like that.
Sure. I get the satisfying thing. I think it's a little bit
Maybe
frustrating for me just because you have to switch between your different spell sets, and that like I wish there was a better way to do that.
I was thinking it right as you said it, but as you continue to speak, I didn't cut you off because you kind of answered my question, or my thought rather. That makes complete sense because I've told you this from since we started talking like about video games like years ago when we met. Like what are my two favorite genres? RPGs and platformers. Like I like a lot of different games, but those are my bread and butter. And I have played so many different RPGs, and with that comes a lot of really shitty ones. So
Sure.
I can compare this to a lot of really bad ones, a lot of really good ones. I'm gonna put up a gameplay clip right here of a more intense Skyrim combat scene, and you're gonna see me go in and out of the menu, a bland text menu, 20 times before I finish this fight. And then you're gonna say, okay, the Harry Potter one isn't that bad.
Okay.
You can get shortcuts with your talents where if you do like a quick press, it'll pull up a different button set so you can hot swap between like a combat wheel or like around the castle, like Levioso, Reparo, Lumos, if you want to do things like that. So you can organize it that way. I actually think that they did it well that way. I can't really complain about that. I played much worse.
Okay. Also, side note, you know how they just say Leviosa in the game? We talked about that.
You learn
It's
Wingardium
I
Leviosa from
did.
Professor Garlick.
I did. That's why I brought it
Yeah.
up. Yeah. It's a side quest, but yes. Indeed. Just wanted to throw that out there. So I only have a few more here. They're not called dungeons, but that's what I'm gonna call them, just because they feel like dungeons from the other games. They are way too long and they outstay their welcome, in my humble opinion. You might feel different, but I think they go on for way too long and I'm done with it halfway through, And
Hmm.
there's no way to like leave it and come back. Like you can just end it and then restart it, but you're
Hmm.
not going to be picked back up at that part. And I'm just like, you get to so many points where it feels like it's the end and it's just not. And I'm like,
My only problem with the dungeons, I would say, is that there are too many puzzles and they're way too fucking easy. It's like knock 4 things in succession or just use uh Accio to pull yourself around in this
yeah,
cart
see
thing. And
that
it's
I am so sick of the Accio pulling yourself around thing. It's not even so much that that's easy, it's that they do it for every single one,
yeah, it just
and
becomes a
it's
little tedious.
annoying. Yeah, it's very tedious. Anyway, um, very tedious. That's all I'm saying. And this leads into my next point, and that is oftentimes the side quests are more fun than the main quests.
Well,
And
I'm also gonna be honest with you again. That's every single like RPG. I mean, to be fair, whenever I play an RPG, like I don't touch the main quest unless you get specific items for it. But the whole thing about RPGs, and it's been like this since even like the NES turn-based days, when you do side quests, it's basically it's just grinding. You're already a low level, so you continue to do these petty quests, learn more about the world, the characters, and then you bump your level up a little bit. Keep doing that versus just being low level the entire time in the story. So, I mean, I can't really complain about that. I love side quests for
okay.
everything. It's always the best. In fact, a side quest in Skyrim, my favorite one is called A Night to Remember. And like you're traveling around, and you go to like a
Like
tavern,
the
and some guy,
Titanic.
yeah, you go to a tavern, guy challenges you to a drinking match, and then you black out, and then you wake up the next day, and you have to retrace your steps, and you marry a hag raven.
Darling, I've been waiting for you to return to consummate our love.
And so to reiterate one
And
more
I hate to
time,
keep bringing up
Lucas,
Skyrim, guys, but
I mean, you do every episode, right? It would just feel wrong if you didn't. Lucas is much more intertwined with the whole RPG world of games, and I'm not nearly at that point. I can probably count on just both of my hands how many RPGs I've played in my life. Um, Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom
and
Hearts 3.
that's more of an action RPG though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that doesn't have
yeah.
like weight and consequence and choice like the way the other ones do. So yeah, it's like a subset of it.
Oh yeah. Um, and then Gotham Knights is an RPG. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And it's funny because out of all of the Batman games that have come out, that's the one that I still haven't finished.
Mm.
Usually I will not play anything else until I will beat whatever Batman game I'm currently playing because they're fantastic. And Gotham Knights isn't bad, but it just should not have been an RPG. And it seems like they might be doing the exact same thing for Kill the Justice League. So that's a whole different story though. Anyway, anyway. I think that's all my points there. I think I mentioned already Quidditch that they should have brought Quidditch into the game. I think that was a massively missed opportunity, and it makes no sense to me that they didn't have the time to do it. It would have been very simple. If they had the time to do Merlin trials, then they certainly have the time to do Quidditch.
Which sucks because that's the only way to increase your fucking carry capacity in that game.
Is Merlin trials?
Yeah, you do trials. And that's how you unlock stuff like that. As to where any
Sure.
other game you level up, and each time you level up, that's when you get a perk bonus. But I guess you have talent,
Yeah.
so whatever. I digress. I'm not going to get into it.
Yes. 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 I want to be an evil wizard and it won't let me. That's what it comes down to ultimately.
Yeah, you can't do that till like the very end of the game.
That's crap. Okay. That's crap. I want to be an evil wizard right now.
More like 2/3 through, maybe you can start to make that decision. But like I said, my Gryffindor playthrough is my pure virgin one, and then go off the rails in the Slytherin one, which I'm very excited to do because I love the common room in that game for Slytherin.
It is nice. I mean, you almost never go back to your common
Oh,
room.
yep.
Which is funny. I mean, that's something that
The only
old
time I've
games
ever gone
have.
back is to like do a side quest with a companion. And
Oh,
then
sure.
you know what? Here's my other complaint with that. Like, do you know what a companion is in Skyrim?
Tell me.
They follow you around. They go with you in battle, and they're an inventory extender. So like you talk to them, they can give you hints, and then you can say, "Hey, hold this for me." So when you're over encumbered, you can just give them the stuff. In this game, when you're full, you can't even pick it up. It's just you're done. So it's like Skyrim came out 12 years ago, man. Like there's just
Yeah.
some things that are just if it had that fine level of polish, like when Ron had detention in the trophy room and he had to polish all the trophies, and that's how we found out about James being a seeker. Then this movie would have that level of this game would be just the piece de resistance, as they say. But again,
Yeah.
there's just a few things holding it back. However, I still really am having fun with it. I really like it. Again, it's not at that love territory, but it's great.
No. And it's
It's great fun.
obvious that it's not. When you first got this game, I mean, it just seemed like you were gonna be through all 4 playthroughs that you wanted to do within, I don't know,
Like a
by
week,
now.
somehow defy the laws of physics.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
I'd
would
be
have
like,
found a
"Oh, you
way.
skipped all the side quests," and you're like, "No, I did them all." Every playthrough, and I'd be like, "This doesn't make sense." Yeah, yeah. By the
But they're
way,
just what's up?
when you find the balls, what
Oh,
are the
Zenobia's
balls?
gobstones.
Gobstones, yes. He still says it when you go into those areas.
I should probably look around for Zenobia's gobstones.
And I'm like, I already got it from here. Stop. Because you probably did the same thing. Like I use the talent, so my Revelio goes like really far,
Oh
like
yeah.
stupidly far.
Well, it sucks at the
And
beginning of the
I
game
can
using
see.
Revelio constantly because you see all the chests that are locked behind Alohomora, which that mini game fucking sucks. It's a pile of garbage. The lock picking in Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout infinitely better. Basically, almost in any other game I played. Like uh even just hacking in BioShock or something, another kind of like action RPG, not RPG really, but it's just when I just go back, I think of games I played 15 years ago that just have this, and I'm like, where is it? You guys had 6 years of developing this game, you delayed it 4 times, and I'm like a disappointed parent right now, only because I see the potential that's there, and I just
Yeah.
want it to reach its full potential because it's my favorite series of all time. Why wouldn't I want that? Before all I had were like 3 decent games. And it sucks that when I play this, I mean, I do get really into it, but after an hour, sometimes I'm like, I
Done
kind of
with
want to
it.
play Chamber of Secrets right now.
I could not
mean?
agree more. 100%. There's just something about that game. And funnily enough, that's the only old game I can speak on because I haven't beaten it yet because I went into this game. I'm just one day. I'm on the last day though with that. So I was right
Very
there.
good.
And that game, it just feels drenched in the magic of Harry Potter. And it's a game that's limited to its time. I'm playing it
100%.
on old hardware, a GameCube, and it's so much more fun. And in my opinion,
So
I have a lot
think
more
about
fun
this.
with it.
So when you go to play it again, I want you to really focus on the music of the game. I've said it before, but Jeremy Soul's soundtrack is like, it's literally just as good as John Williams. And the music in Hogwarts Legacy is The music is very good. I absolutely love it, but it doesn't stand out to me in the same way. It's almost like I noticed the motifs of Hedwig's theme more than I noticed any original scores, and I feel like it should just be more grand. I feel like I should just, when I'm walking through the Great Hall or I'm going through the staircase and light is shining in, I feel like the music should just be swelling with passion and beauty. Like you're in this wondrous place. And a game with the most basic of textures on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, it feels different. Again, I'm far too nostalgic, so I'm really a basket case with this. But Brandon, I have a score for the game, by the way. I know you're not prepared with that, but I'm going to hit you with the score. What do you give it? Without finishing, I still want to know what you give it.
At this point, it's so difficult to say. I would give it out of 10. You're not gonna like this. I would give it a 6 out of 10.
I wouldn't go that low, but I'm at. Is this a repeat of Cocaine Bear? I'm giving it 8.5. Like it's right at that B territory. It's got a few things holding it back. Like for
Yes.
example, if you want my Skyrim rating, that game was like a 98 or a 99. Like it's still not I don't think any game is a full 100, to tell you the truth. Games are different than movies, but like it's still really fun.
That's how much Lucas loves that game. He went into percentages rather than fractions to tell you how he felt about that game. Not 9.8 or 9.9, which is 98 or 99%.
So right here, I'm going to insert a photo of my stack of Skyrim games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have like 27 of them. Funny note, actually, before we started recording this, I watched a little review from IGN about Resident Evil 4, and it was like
IGN,
the guy. I enjoy the videos for the most part, because it shows me the gameplay.
You know that the first 3 letters of the word ignorant are IGN.
Boom. Anyway, and he said in it, the guy that was reviewing the game, he's like, I've been waiting for years for something to be just as good as Resident Evil 4, and it turns out it's just Resident Evil 4 again. It made me think of Skyrim, because apparently this game is phenomenal. But it's funny that it's Resident Evil 4. Like, remake it as much as you want. It's still that game in its heart and soul, right? So, yeah, it's just hilarious because those two games obviously are the most released games of all time, if nobody knew that. But yes. In conclusion, I definitely agree about the music. Those few moments where I hear Hedwig's theme, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'd rather be listening to. And they do it at like, you fixed a statue and now it's gonna do it, and you completed a quest and now they're gonna do, it's very strange, but
so
I like.
Speaking of statue, I'd mentioned this to you guys. It's something that like you play the game, you're like, oh, I'm gonna make a note of that, and then you forget about it, and then something comes up and you remember it. And when you said statues, I don't know if you've done this because I feel like you would have told me, but then vice versa, I didn't tell you. Whatever. If there are 2 like suits of armor standing next to each other, and then you use just your basic jinx, and you just keep hitting it and hitting it, the one that you're hitting gets angry and it looks over at the other suit of armor and it takes its axe and it beats the shit out of it for like 15 seconds until it just explodes, and then it walks back up on the pedestal, the other one, and just sits up there. And if you try to cast Reparo on the suit of armor, it doesn't do anything, so you just killed him, and it's hilarious. Now when you go back, it's like reset, but I thought that was funny. So it's like,
that is weird. Very funny.
It's weird to have like these small attention to detail moments, but then lack such big things on the surface. So it's really bizarre. It almost really screams the thick of COVID development, and people were working on this at home from separate teams, and we had to just try to glue it together the best we could. So, and again, like on this channel, guys, like I want to be in like, oh, this is the 95 best game ever camp like everybody else is. And this is the thing. Everybody shills all this bullshit the second it happens, the day it comes out, just to get those day one views, to get in, not only to get the ad revenue, but to get in good with the game company. So we don't get in bed with the companies like that, people here. We have our own opinion. So I do have to be
Yeah.
critical of things that I enjoy because I want to enjoy them more in the future. Because obviously, we're gonna get is sequels and remakes. It's all things are now. So, and especially when it's your favorite franchise, like you have to be critical of it.
Yeah, and I do think that a sequel, when it eventually happens, which shouldn't be that long because they have the entire
They got the framework
bones
right there.
right there. Exactly. They have all the framework, and how much more can you really add on? I'm sure they will, but it's really
I
all just there.
I
It's
am
just improving
truly,
upon what is there.
I'm glad we had that Mike conversation at the beginning of this video to kind of bring this full circle because Mike's Star Trek is my Bethesda. Because I'm going to tell you this: if you look at Oblivion, which is Elder Scrolls 4, and you look at Fallout 3, they
Hmm.
came out within 2 years of each other. It uses the same engine, the same everything, but the games are so different in art direction and tonality and gameplay that even though it's the same engine for all intents and purposes, the same kind of game, it becomes completely different with how smartly they were able to utilize their like bare bone assets. Because Bethesda was not what they are today. They are not what they are today back then. So, and those two games are coveted as like some of the best of all time. So I don't want excuses with that. Do the same thing. Do the same damn thing, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we go. It'd be cool to have Azkaban in the game. I was gonna correct myself and
That'd be
say
cool.
maybe you couldn't do that because of the Dementors, but then, you know, cast a Patronus, right? That would be very, very, very cool.
Oh, how cool
And
would that
Diagon
be?
Alley.
And you cast a Patronus, so you get to choose your own animal.
That would be amazing, but I fear that they wouldn't do that because they wouldn't even let you choose your own pet,
Wow, you know what? That's a very glaring omission that I didn't even think about. Wow. So do
right?
your Hogwarts Legacy quiz, link it to the game. Don't get something that's in the quiz online and like a text-based quiz. Hey, you can pet all the cats
Yeah.
though. I swear to God, I thought there was like a
Yes.
hidden trophy for petting
I
the
was hoping
cats,
there was.
and I just stopped petting the cats because I pet like 700 cats and I have no trophy for it. So
I feel a little bad when I run past them though, and it's like stretching and walking up to me. I'm
you ever
like, oh, you
jinx them?
bastard. No, you sick
Try it.
bastard. I don't want to. Anyway, so yeah, you don't get to pick your animal or anything else for that matter, except your one. So I was able to import the data from Pottermore. It's not even called Pottermore anymore. I found out it's called like
Wizarding World experience or some bullshit.
something like that, and I don't like that. But I
Wait,
was
you didn't
able
get a
to
broom yet
import.
in the
Oh
game?
no, I do.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I
Because
do. Yeah.
you can customize.
I just
Can
don't.
you customize it, or can you just buy them? There was like 6 of them I could choose from. I got the one that has all the sparks and the embers shooting out the back. I thought it was cool.
I got the one that was made out of the wood that the guy said most people don't like it because they compare it like it's only dark arts people that use that
Hmm.
particular broom. And I was like, I'll take that one right there. It's whatever. You can customize it though. You can go back to them and
God,
change little things here and there.
even going to Gamble and Japes, man, even just running around to get Ginny's spellotape and her brass scales, like that felt more jovial in Potter like than the characters that are in the Hogsmeade Village.
190 billion%. Because that is actually leads me into something that I forgot to say, but it'll be my final point
The
because honestly,
spellotape
it'll
was in the
just be
leaky
us sitting
cauldron. I'm
here for
sorry.
hours.
I can't have anybody
Um,
not know that yes, you get Ginny spellotape from the leaky cauldron. And Tom is even
that's true,
there,
you
the
do.
barkeeper.
And then
Tom is there. Like it's awesome.
he is there.
The fact that I
And then you
know
fall
all
down
of
a
this,
hole.
the fact that I know all of this about this game, about all these games is
Hmm.
like tism levels of detail. And I'm not helping my case any when I say that I think this may be the better game when it's probably really not. But just how I feel,
It
guys.
is though. Keep in mind, I'm somebody that just started playing these games 6 months ago or whatever, and I say it's the better game. So I think that that's all that really needs
It's
to be
just
said right
crazy.
there.
It's like it's like Hogwarts Legacy, the light version, but with Harry Potter. You still get to fly around on your broom. You still have a relative sandbox to play in. You still have to end the days
Yeah.
and you have a task list, but you don't have to do them necessarily in order. And even if you have to go to class, you can still do side quests all around the castle. So it's like the framework for it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just kind of keep repeating myself, but
It was a better game at the time that it came out than this is today.
I guess I could see the
So,
point. Yeah. But being, an
um,
RPG fanatic and a Harry Potter fanatic, it's like I do enjoy it still, but it's just again something you have to be honest though. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
If I was a
So,
kid, I wouldn't have given this as much of an honest review as I just did. I would have given it like a fucking 100, a 10
oh
out of 10.
really?
Oh,
I thought you were gonna
totally.
say the opposite, that a
No,
kid
no.
wouldn't really enjoy it. Yes. So the last thing I will say, because again, we'll end up just sitting here for 3 hours straight, just going over the same points, most likely,
Which
is
which we do and we will do.
I talk too long, which it will do, and I will do.
So
indeed, indeed. But the times we don't do it, we get yelled at.
yeah,
Anyway.
what the fuck was that about?
Oh well. Anyway, so the last thing I want to say is out, and this might just be me, I don't know. Maybe it's a hot take, whatever. If you're not in Hogwarts itself or on the grounds of Hogwarts, it does not feel like the wizarding world to me. It
Oh,
does
when you're in
not
like the poacher
feel
camps, when you're at
just,
Hogsfeld
yep,
and okay.
anywhere, anywhere. Including Hogsmeade, because it still doesn't look like Hogsmeade from the movies. So, you know what I'm saying? So
At
you're
least
in
the Honeyduke
anywhere.
storefront looks the same.
Sure, sure, sure. That's good. I think I remember saying to you when I first started playing the game that I felt like I was at the Renaissance Festival when I was in Hogsmeade, because that's what it feels like just the music playing,
I
and
know
you
it's all
think like,
jaunty and
it's like,
stuff.
yeah. And that's probably why you love it. It just reminds you of Skyrim. And
It's more
you
like
just
this
love
one
it.
scene. Yeah, you know what? I'll have to insert some footage.
Look at that footage. Mm-mm-mm. Yes. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to touch on. It just doesn't feel too wizardy to me, you know what I'm saying? Also give us the Ministry of Magic in the sequel. That'd be really cool. I like that. So Azkaban, Ministry of Magic, and
You know what? If you have the Goblin
Diagon Alley.
Rebellion, right? You have that, which I think is awesome because really the books never talked about the goblins as much as they do in this one, which is cool, which makes sense because they're like a different species. You know what I mean? And they touch on it a little bit in the movies, and actually in the game they do a pretty good job of it. When you're in the Forbidden Forest, the centaurs will shit talk you. They don't like you. They don't like wizards. I mean,
Oh, really? I've had them help me out in multiple fights.
they will once you prove yourself, but like when you go there with Ani the first time, that's her name. Like they make a whole point about it. And I do like in the forest that they have like all the Ministry of Magic signs around there. So you know what? Maybe for the next game, if they have the Ministry in it, how about you have a dark wizard that gets into the Ministry and shit goes haywire, like he's working undercover.
Mm.
Barty Crouch! Junior.
Put the Polyjuice potion stuff in there, man. We have the groundwork. Like, let's do it. Brandon, how are we coming up with better sequel ideas on a whim than these writers with millions of dollars in a massive studio?
That's what I'm saying.
I guess being a fan really shows.
Yes, apparently. I don't know. It's just whatever. So much of it just didn't stick with me, unfortunately. And just still isn't, sadly. Is there a character from Harry Potter that is alive during this period of time that they could shove in there for the sequel?
Possibly. I mean, Dumbledore's like the oldest wizard I could think of. Maybe you could put Nicholas Flamel in there. So he never died, actually. Like he actually had the Sorcerer's Stone. There was two of them.
That could be good. That could be good. Yeah, yeah, maybe do that. I don't know if they could do that though. There's always issues with, you know, rights of people, and as we've discussed, Nicholas Flamel was a real person,
Yeah.
so that could get all cattywampus. They did shove him in the second Fantastic Beast movie though.
But I'm an alchemist and therefore immortal.
Basically, this was just a long diatribe of telling everybody that they should read The Christmas Pig, and there should be a game connected to it.
Yes. And it'll be a throwback to like the movie tie-in days of like the likes of Shrek the Third and was there like a B movie
Series of
game,
unfortunate
probably
events.
series of unfortunate events, Stuart Little. I don't think they ever made one of those.
Hmm.
But all
Oh,
those
I'm sure
games
they did.
sound like a possibility. I do know you can get
Oh
Stuart Little
yeah.
on UMD, like the movie is on PSP, but I don't know if there's a game. Monster House, there's a game for that one. All the Jimmy Neutron, the SpongeBob games, which are actually pretty decent, most of them.
The first Pirates of the Caribbean that has none of the characters from the movie in it.
I fucking hate that game on Xbox. It was such a pile of shit. Bethesda made it too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it even better. Yeah, that game was it was supposed to be a completely different game. It was supposed to be a pirate game, but
And you, oh my God, can you tell? It was a PC pirate game because the whole menu system is designed for a mouse, and they're just like, here's your controller, and it is the most unintuitive. I literally played it for like 40 minutes, and I sold it immediately
yeah.
to Trash Depot. I'm like, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna take this. You have to pay us to take it. I'm like, just take it. I don't. Here's $5 and the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no good. Yeah,
so
it's like they didn't put any effort either. Like, that happens all the time with games, as you know, where they have to like, retroactively change something into something else and blah blah blah. And they could have made the main character Will Turner, and they could have thrown in Jack Sparrow, and that wouldn't have taken all that long. But
they
no,
could have used the
they
horrible character creator that they had and then create a horrible likeness and
yeah,
then put that in
yeah,
there.
yeah, that'd
And
be
the
fine.
little kids that were going to buy the game anyway would have been happier. So
They probably would have. Instead, they needed it to probably come out the day of release. Remember when that used to happen? Like
I
Batman
loved it.
Begins would come out, and the Batman Begins game actually came out
Which
like a
is another
week
good game.
before. Um, uh, but oh, I actually have one positive to say about this game.
Finally.
And I was going to we were going to end this without me even saying a positive, a full positive. And that is something that's improved upon from the earlier games is one, it doesn't take place over the course of 5 days. It takes course over a school year. That's cool. And seasons change.
Yes.
It just became fall for me. So I like that. It literally, I think it's like a old school, like Alfonso Cuarón shot. Like I think it's by, like, I don't know if it's actually the Whomping Willow, but there's a tree and then you see Hogwarts and then like it just becomes a different season and then it was like and then like there was leaves on the trees changing color to like orange and red and then all of a sudden you see pumpkins all over the ground and I was like, that's the way to my heart. I like that.
Very good.
So that was good. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that tells me there'll probably be winter as well in the game. So that's good. I like that.
Yes, indeed.
That's the one bone I'm going to throw you. So, yes, let us know down below all your thoughts and feelings about Hogwarts Legacy. Do you love it as it is right now? Or do you think there could be a lot that could be improved about it, or just some things? Let us know. Also, what do you think about Azkaban, Ministry of Magic, and Diagon Alley being in the sequel? Don't be too excited. That has not been announced, but
how about we have
I think it'd be great.
This big divide, the civil war that's happening in the wizarding community that actually gives rise to like Grindelwald's predecessor. Like let's actually see, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, guys. There's endless possibilities. Warner Brothers, contact me. I'm not like Elizabeth Banks. We said we're just going to give you the idea, possibly, but Warner Brothers, no, you got to contact me. These ideas are
Yeah.
too good.
Mm, mm, mm.
And radio silence. Talk to us because you need to be silenced.
Anyway, comment below. Let us know what you thought about everything we said. Do you love the game? Do you hate the game? Do you just think it's okay? Let us know. And what do you think about Diagon Alley, Azkaban, and the Ministry of Magic being in it? I think it'd be really cool. So let us know. Let us know. I know it's been a while since the game released, but we like to talk about things
When we want to talk about
way
them.
after they came out. Yeah, whenever we want to talk about
Well,
them, that's when we'll
sometimes
talk
you
about them. Okay.
sometimes you really do need to let things marinate though, really, because I've had so many times where like right away I love it and then I want to talk about it because I like to talk, and then 3 days in I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, best game ever, and then I play it and a month later I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was just a little too excited, fanboying everywhere. My fanboy was showing.
If we talked about this game the first week it came out, I would
I
have
would have given it
been
like a fucking
overwhelmingly
I would have
positive
given
as
it 10
well.
points higher.
Yeah. I would have meaning like, are we on a percentage system now? Are we
We're all
back to
over the place.
that?
It's easy to convert
Okay.
our rating system to percentages, so
It brings you right back to middle school math. I probably would have given it like an 8 out of 10 that first week of playing it, because it felt, if I felt the magic in that time. And then I realized the magic actually wasn't there. Not to the extent that it probably should have been. But yeah. Yeah. The portraits are cool.
nah. What's
The
cool?
portraits.
Oh yeah,
Portraits.
very standout. You have Phineas Nigellus in there for the first time. You get to see him. Awesome. And you have
Yes.
Headmaster Black. I mean, it's cool. You know what, Brandon? I'm just
You
gonna keep
have an
harping.
ancestor of the Gaunt family.
Shout out to Morphin.
Indeed.
And
Indeed. I think
I
it's the blind kid, right? He's the Gaunt.
can't remember his last name, but
I think it's Gaunt.
I don't know, but Brandon, I was just about to say something. Forgot. Damn it. Yeah, I forgot. It wasn't important. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.